All right, good morning. My name is Stephanie Comella, and we're at brain training for Parkinson's. Today, you will need a ball or a roll of socks or a pillow. That's perfect. Something to throw around to yourself, preferably, hopefully, it's not breakable, something that's not breakable in case you drop it. And then make sure you have some floor space available for you too. We're going to be working on the ground a little bit, doing some Pilates movements along with our neurological eye tracking work. If you know yourself to need a chair for balance, you can also grab that. And then also just a reminder that PD Active asks for a donation of $10 to $15 if you're enjoying this class. So you can find all that information on the PD Active website. And I've also linked it in the chat for those of you joining me live. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and get started now that we got all that housekeeping out of the way. So again, you're at brain training. This is where we connect our sensory systems, specifically our eyes and our vision, and our vestibular system, our inner ear system, along with movements in our body to increase our ability to communicate brain, body, and then also react to our environments. So I think we can all agree that that is important for anyone with a body, but then especially for people with Parkinson's disease who are looking to be more efficient in their movement. We're going to go ahead and start standing, and go ahead and grab your ball. And just like we've started in the past, we're just going to play catch with ourselves. So you're going to throw the ball up and then catch it, throw the ball up and catch it. And for those of you that are new to this, this is just kind of the first stage. For those of you that have taken a few classes now, you may or may not remember the sort of specifics of this drill, and you can start doing those early on if you know what they are. Today's class is going to focus on connecting into your core center, on your core center. So we're going to be doing some core and Pilates movements to help you with that, but we're also going to be using our visual system to help us connect into our core, which sounds kind of interesting. How do we use our eyes to have stronger core stability? We'll see how this goes. All right, one more time. Good, good. And then go ahead and pass the ball or your throwing object just off to the side for now. And as I mentioned in a previous class as well, I always like to start class with some sort of movement that you care about, some sort of movement that you care about. You're going to perform that movement and take some mental notes on that movement. And then at the end of the class, we'll come in and check back in with that movement and see if it improved. So think about something in your brain that you care about improving in your movement system. So maybe that's your walking, maybe that's your squatting, maybe that's your ability to bend over and pick something up off the floor. So I want you to think of a movement that you care about and then do that movement right here and now. Take some mental notes on what that feels like in your body so that when we come back at the end of the class, after we've done some interventions, we can compare from the start. Okay, that's how we know. It's like very scientific, right? We got to post-check, pre-check, and post-check. So again, I'm going to check out my gait. I'm going to check out my walking. I'm going to feel how my feet are feeling on the ground, how long my stride is, how smooth the step is in general, maybe even if I have any sort of rotation in the hips. And I'm also looking to see if I have a natural arm swing that pairs with that rotation in the hips. Okay. So I chose gait. And if you care about gait, then that's a great option for you. If you have something else in mind that you care about improving in your movement in your body, then go ahead and check that out too. So again, mental notes, what's good, what's not so good, what feels smooth, what feels not so smooth, what is missing, what feels really good. All right. Great. Go ahead and grab a chair if you know yourself to need that for a little bit of balance. I like using the chair. I think it helps me get into my feet a little bit better. And then we're going to stand with our feet parallel. Go ahead and rock forward onto the balls of the feet and elevate your heels. And then slowly lower your heels down to the mat. Okay. Go ahead and press yourself up into that little high heel lift, and then lower it down. Again, you can definitely use that chair for a little bit of assistance, or even if you use, we call it a super finger. It's like one finger, makes a big difference just to stabilize. Good. We'll go up and down through those feet. Nice. Now, as you're going up and down through those feet, I want you to notice for yourself, do you like to bias the outside of the foot, the inside of the foot, or are you even across the whole set of 5 toes on either side? Okay. In order for us to make change, we have to be aware of what's going on in the first place. So I keep coming back to that idea, but go ahead and think about that and feel that in your body. And if you need to look down too, notice whether you like to bias the outside, the inside, or you're fairly even across all 5 toes. We'll do that 3 more times. 3. Yep. 2. And last one. Beautiful. Nice job. Go ahead and grab your throwing object or your ball. And this time we're going to play pass with ourselves. This time you're going to catch the ball wherever it lands and then make really awkward laser focus eye contact on that ball. Okay. For a second or 2, and then throw the ball up again, make really awkward laser eye contact with the ball, and then throw it up again. Okay. So we're getting your eyes to stabilize on an object that was previously moving. This is important. The convergence of your eyes onto the object. So you're just going to throw the ball, catch it, laser lock, put that ball in focus. If you have some sort of lettering or pattern on the ball, maybe you can pinpoint something on the ball that you want to laser your eyes into, you focus your eyes into. Yeah. Good. And you can get wild with that ball too. Let it kind of fly out of your hands and you have to turn your eyes and your head in order to catch it. And you can do this seated or standing. If you're feeling like you're losing your balance, just take a seat, or you can back your butt up to a couch or a chair so that if you fall back, it's no big deal, right? We'll do that 2 more times. Laser focus, make sure it comes into focus. Good. And then pass it off to the side. Let's grab that chair again. We are going to add on another layer to the heel lift. Okay, so today, I should also mention today is also going to be about layers. So we're going to do the same exercise several times through. Every time we do the exercise, I'm going to layer in an up level option. And if you want the up level option, you're more than welcome to take it. If you do not like it for whatever reason, you can always go back to option 1. All right. So we're going to start with that heel raise and lower the heel down, heel raise and lower the heel down. Again, take notice for yourself. Do you like to bias the pinky toe or the big toe side? Yeah. And then we're going to add in a little bit of a squat. It's called a heel up squat. We're going to lift the heels, bend your knees a little bit to lower down. Again, you can use that chair, press yourself back up into stand, and then lower the heels back down. Good. All the women in the class, or I should say anyone that's ever worn high heels, maybe men too. You all know it's easier to squat when your heels are lit, when you're wearing high heels, right? Drop down. Although, even for me, it seems like decades since I wore high heels. Good. So as you're working through the heel up squat, I want you to be mindful about how you have weight distributed in your feet. Is it more on the pinky side, the big toe side, or is it pretty equal across all 5 toes? Yep, we're gonna do one more time. Good, good. And then lower the heels down. Nice. I'm just gonna push my chair off to the side for this last bit. One more time through the ball throwing drill. And for those of you that are fairly new to this, you can just kind of start getting into a little bit more of a rhythm. For those of you that have been coming for a long time, start getting crazy with that ball. You can bounce it, surprise yourself a little bit. Maybe if you have an open wall, this may be loud, you can throw it off the wall to yourself. That's kind of fun too, because it's a little bit less predictable. Okay. The idea here is that you want to startle yourself. You want to sort of make yourself scramble a little bit to get that ball. That means you're pushing yourself to the edge. That's where neuroplasticity happens. Okay. You have to fail a few times in order for the successful attempts to actually take hold in your brain. Okay. So go ahead and do that a few more times. Again, try to surprise. I know it's hard when you're by yourself, but try to surprise yourself. Maybe bounce it off the ceiling, which comes down really fast. It's a little bit shocking. Woo! Again, get that laser eye focus every time you catch the ball. We'll do that 2 more times. 2 more throws. Yeah. Smiles and laughing at yourself is encouraged. Good, good. And then go ahead and place that ball off to the side, or you're throwing object off to the side. I'm going to grab my chair again for balance. Level up option for round 3. It's not that much different. We're just going to keep the heels up the entire time. Okay. So we're going to go heels up. Notice if you have pinky toe bias, big toe bias, or all 5 toes evenly distributed. And we're just going to bend and then stand back up, keeping the heels up. So don't drop your heels in between your squats this time. You're going to go down as far as you can go, which still allows you to stand up pretty easily without pulling too much on your chair. Good. Now, when we're talking about core activation, the best way to activate your core is actually by doing squats. Okay. Lots of studies have shown that core activation is maximized when you're doing sit to stands out of a chair or doing squats. I know, weird, right? Because you think you have to do like crunches to get your core, but no, this is the most functional way to access your core and train your core. We're going to do 2 more. Yeah. Last one. My heart rate's getting up a little bit. Good. And release, lower the heels down and reset. Nice job. All right. Chair is going to come off to the side because we're going to come down onto the mat. We're going to come down onto the floor. And go ahead and come down to the floor, and we'll sit in some sort of crisscross applesauce, cross-legged position, long sitting, whatever's comfortable for you. You can also do this in a chair, but we're going to end up doing some stuff on the floor too. So kind of get yourself down and settled. All right. I'm just going to have my ball nearby me. So the way that we get into your core center, if you think about like, okay, the core is in the middle of our body. So sometimes I also reference core as midline connection. So being able to pull into the center part of your body. Okay. So like pulling in from right and left to your center, and then also pulling in from like a stretched out arm to pulling into your center this way. Okay. So when we're looking at body movements, we're thinking like, okay, can we be out here and then also pull into your center? Let's do that a few times. So we're going to go out and pull into your center, out and pull into your center. This is sort of metaphorical, okay, but stay with me. Reaching out and pull. As you reach out, grab something imaginary and pull it in. Good. Now create some tension. So imagine you're actually pulling in on something. Actually create some strength in your shoulders. We're going to go 3 more. Pull. 2 more. Yep. Last one. Reach and pull in. Nice job. So we have our body doing that core centering or that pulling into your center, but then we can also consider what are our eyes doing that can mirror that movement in the actual body. Okay, so I'm going to get a little close to the camera. Bear with me. So when we're talking about convergence, we're talking about the ability of your eyeballs to move to the center of your face. Okay. What happens, and this is going to be a little teaching moment, so hang out with me for a second. When your eyeballs are able to both come into the center of your face, you're going to be able to see one object as it comes close to your nose too. So it's called convergence, your ability to focus on an object as it comes closer to your face. Sometimes we think of that as being cross-eyed, but it requires your ability to bring your eyeballs inward. Okay. The importance of convergence, number 1, is if your eyes are not converging on one single object, your brain essentially gets 2 images, and then it has to use a lot of energy to suppress one of the images so that you consciously only see one image. Okay. So you have 2 eyeballs. They're converging to make one image in your brain. If they do not converge, if you don't have the ability to bring your eyeballs to the center of the face, your brain sees 2 images. It's going to use a lot of energy to suppress one of those images so that you are not confused and you only see one on a conscious level. Okay. So if you are one of those people that when you read, you get really sleepy, that might be why, because your brain is using a lot of energy to suppress one of those images so that you don't see, double letters. Okay. So convergence, let's work on that convergence. First, let's just work on eye movements, and then we'll work on the convergence because we need the ability to pull the eye center before we work on the ability to focus. Okay. So you're just going to have your hand out in front of you. You can use just your finger. Do not move your head. So maybe even bring your other hand to your chin so that your head doesn't move. Bring your finger over to the left and try to pull your eyeballs over to the left side of their sockets. So one of your eyeballs is going to go to the outside of your face. One of your eyeballs is going to go to the inside of your face. Yep. And then center yourself up. Maybe take a break if you already got nauseous. And then over to the other side. And for those of you that joined me last week, remember we talked about this too. This work is really overwhelming. Can be really overwhelming, especially if you're pushing yourself to your threshold. The nervous system can get kind of feisty. So if you feel nauseous or dizzy or just like weird, number one, nice work. You want to pull yourself out of your comfort zone in that way. But then if you ever need to take a break and just lay down and close your eyes, do that. Okay, we're going to do that a couple more times, just alternating right and left. Sometimes I have to take breaks in between the repetitions because I get a little bit nauseous. Good. Yep, we're going to do one more time. Hopefully you did about even numbers on either side. Let yourself wander out to the side a little and stay there for a little bit. Good. And then release. Nice. We're going to take a break off the eyeballs and just do something in the body for a moment here. Go ahead and keep your legs crossed or in some sort of orientation here. Take one hand down on the ground and then side stretch over the top. As you're reaching here, think about reaching really long through the hands and anchoring down in that hip that's in opposition of it. We'll cartwheel the arms up and over. Inhale into that other side. Open up through your ribs. Good, good. And other side. We'll just go right to left, right to left. Nice. Think of your ribs like an accordion. Open them up. They're like this fan of an accordion. Yeah, good. We'll do one more on each side. Inhale, anchor that opposite hip down. And other side. Inhale and open up. Very nice. Good, good. Go ahead and come back forward, or I'm going to come back forward. You don't have to come back forward, and bring your pencil or your finger out in front of you again. All right. So this time we're going to work, instead of just going in a straight line here, we're going to work in a circle around. And right here, we're going to be trying to pull your eyeballs to the most extreme parts of your eyeball socket that you can manage while still seeing your fingertip. Okay, so if your fingertip goes into the abyss, then you've gone just a little bit too far. Keep in mind that your eyes will strain. You will feel some kind of achiness like in the eyeball socket. So if you have that, no big deal. You're in the right spot. Maybe push yourself a little bit and then take a break and kind of shake it out. All right. So I'm going to start in the center and I'm going to use my other hand actually to keep me honest on my face. We're going to pull the fingertip up towards the ceiling and go as high as you can before the finger goes in the abyss. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? The abyss, it's like black. It's like above your eyebrows. We're going to circle out to one side, your choice. Make sure that you're still seeing one finger. And you're going to pull yourself out to the furthest the furthest side point, whichever direction you went to. Furthest side point. Stay there for a second, kind of hold. And then travel down the bottom sort of quadrant, one of the side quadrants. Down below, you're going to look down your cheekbones. We're going to go over to the other side. Pause on that side point. Bring it back up towards the ceiling. Pause up there. And then relax and shake it out. Yeah. Okay, good. So some of you guys are like, whew, like feeling it. Yeah. That desire to like want to shake it out. That means you hit a good spot. You should feel that strain. It should almost be like a little bit like, oh my gosh, I just want to like ice my eyeballs. Okay. Whew. We're going to go one more time in the opposite direction. You go slow enough and big enough, you'll feel it. Here we go. Finger draws up. Use your other hand to stabilize if you need that feedback. Go the opposite direction that you went the last time. Oh my gosh. You guys, in this class, you guys get my, what are those called? The comments that you shouldn't hear. You're like, if she's struggling, how does she expect us to do this? Yep, it's different for everyone. Everyone's got their own story. Once you get to the top, shake it out. Very nice. All right, we're going to come down onto the ground again. Go ahead and lay on your side. Wow, and after that one, I feel like I have got like spidey sense. Like I feel like my whole vision has just expanded. The more you do this work, the quicker the intervention, the quicker the effects happen. So like at the beginning, when I first started doing this work, it took me a while. I had to kind of like work through it, but now I can do like one repetition of things and it's very fast for me. All right, so you're gonna reach your arm forward for a spine twist. Try to get yourself down so that your chest is rotating down towards the floor. Bring your arm up overhead, circle it around and behind you. Reach towards your toes with that same arm and then go ahead and reset. That bottom arm you can kind of support through your head, and maybe as you're moving around, your head will lift, but your hand's kind of supporting. Go ahead and do that a few more times. This is called pinwheel. We go up and around, rotate open, circle down towards your feet. Winding, winding, winding. Good. You can go fast or slow, but I do care that you hit all of those corners. So if you've taken, your big series, reaching beyond where you think you can actually finish your reach. Now, if you're feeling really good here, go ahead and take your eyeballs to your hand and follow your hand with your eyes the entire time. Okay. There may be some points where you sort of lose track of it. Just anticipate where it'll come out on the other side. And that may ask that you do a little side crunch here to follow it. And we're just going to do 2 more of those. Again, if this is too much, this work can get very overwhelming very quickly. So if you're feeling funny, no shame. Digress it or degress it a little bit. Take a break, close your eyes, lay down on your side. Very good. And then release. We're just going to lay on your side here, close your eyes, and rock your hip. Rock your hips. Just rock yourself. You're a baby. You're not feeling good. You're just going to rock yourself. Yeah. Very nice. Good. From here, go ahead and press yourself up. We're going to swing your legs over to the other side and switch on to whatever side you didn't just do and go ahead and lay. And right here, make a pillow with your bottom arm. We'll do the first few without the eye tracking, and we'll do like the last 3 with eye tracking if you would like to add that. Okay, go ahead and stretch forward all the way so that your chest sort of rotates down to the ground. Pinwheel the arm up and around, rotate behind you, sweeping out and around. Good. You can support your head with your bottom arm. Nice job. Reaching and rotating. Good. So we're going to do about 3 more. Go ahead if you want to do the eye tracking with it. It kicks it up a notch. Both sensory system and rotationally, right? Kind of uses a little bit more reach, a little bit more core. Again, if you start to feel overwhelmed, dizzy, nauseous, stop with the eye tracking and or just let yourself close your eyes and rest. Sometimes you only need 1 repetition and then you hit your threshold. Good, good. After your last one, your 3rd one there, go ahead and close your eyes and just rock your top hip forward and back. Very good. And then open your eyes. Go ahead and press yourself back up. Come on to hands and knees position. I said this last week. This is one of my favorite positions for this group. Being able to crawl and be loaded through your hands, super important. Drop the hips back. Shift the hips forward. Drop the hips back and shift the hips forward. As you're working yourself forward, you're stretching your wrists. So you can go beyond sort of that stack position. Good. When you set your hips back, sort of stick your booty out and see if you can flare your sit bones or flare your pelvis, as we say in Pilates. Flare the sit bones and then come in. Very good. We'll do 2 more. And last one. Good, good. Go ahead and come into either a high kneeling position. So if this is more comfortable, or you can sit back on your knees, whichever feels more comfortable. Interlace your fingers and just roll your wrists out. I'm just down, so I stay a little bit in the frame. Good. And then go ahead and bring it down back into hands and knees. We're going to do a cat-cow here where we're working on flexion and extension of the spine. So right here, go ahead and tuck your tail and drop your eyes underneath you so that you're looking in between your thighs. Round your spine up as much as you can. And then extend your tail and bring your eyes up in front of you, lifting through your heart and widening your collarbone. So slide your shoulders down your back. Yeah, let's do that again. Pull underneath, look underneath you. And then open out and extend. Good. Just one more time. Just one more time. We're going to do an eye drill and then we'll come back to this. Drop under. And then lift, open. Nice. Very non-specific. We're going to come back to that with more specifics. All right, get comfortable. We're going to do another. There we go. I'm back, right? My microphone's back. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome. Okay, I just accidentally pressed the power button. Okay, so we're right here. We're sitting. We're going to now work on that convergence that I was talking about. So you're going to have your finger in front of you, maybe a little bit further in front of you. Looking at the tip of your finger, we're going to slowly drag your finger in towards your nose. Make sure that you go slow enough so that your eyes can accommodation, coming in towards the center of your nose and still focusing. You're going to come in as far as you can without seeing double. So you want to still see one finger. Once you feel like you've kind of hit that threshold, zoom back out with the hand, you're going to open back out and let your eyes sort of split a little bit. Okay. Go ahead and pull the finger in towards your nose. Make sure that you're not going off to one side, by the way, too. If you know yourself to have a really dominant eye, the finger may drift off to that dominant eye. So you can try to keep yourself in the center. Yeah, it's tricky, right? These are called pencil push-ups because, well, clinically you would use a pencil, but finger is just fine. Good. And you're just going to do anywhere between 5 and 10 pencil push-ups. Good. And maybe 1 or 2 more. Good. Last one. Perfect. Shake it out. Go ahead and bring it on down to the mat. Again, you're going to lay on your back. Lay on your back. So your ability to converge inward with your eyeballs has a correlation with your ability to connect into your center, into your core for some movements here. So we're going to work with just a pelvic tilt to start. Bring your hands on your pelvis. Your feet are flat and your knees are bent. Right here, you're going to take a hot exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. Pull your pubic bone towards your nose press low back down into the ground. This is called an imprinted spine in Pilates. You're going to go out in the other direction, extend your low back a little bit, and then tuck the tail and drag your pubic bone towards your nose. So it's not a bridge. I don't want you pressing through your feet. I want you using your abdominals. In fact, your feet should almost be out of the picture completely. Okay. Tuck the tail, drag underneath with your tail, and then extend just in your low back. It's a small rocking motion. You barely see it even on the screen. It's just, here, let me exaggerate it a little bit. It's like kind of you're rolling the pelvis forward and back, kind of rocking this way. I'm exaggerating it. It's not as big as that in your body. It's actually quite small. By using an exhale. We'll do 2 more of those. Yeah, last one. Just getting kind of a mental picture for ourselves. What is it like to draw the abdominals in here? Go ahead and bring your legs out into a wide position here. Your legs are going to be out long and wide, and reach your arms up sort of in the counter position. So you make yourself in a big X between your feet and your hand. Point your feet and then dorsiflex your feet right here. So you're just going to point and flex the feet, point the feet, and then flex the feet, getting your feet involved. We've talked about this in a previous class where when you have your feet and your hands super, super active in a movement, everything in between those points has to be integrated. So if you just think about tensioning or reaching or stretching or being active in your feet and your hands, then you know that every part of your body is being worked. All right, so we're going to keep our feet in dorsiflexion. That primes core work. Take your right arm up towards the ceiling. Right here, you're going to rotate your feet over to the left. So your feet are going to spiral left. Like if you were an Egyptian, you know how they have those like the photos of the Egyptian, their feet are sideways. That should be kind of what you look like. From here, you're going to reach your right arm up towards the ceiling and a little bit diagonal. So much so that you start to roll onto the left side of your body. Yep. And because you started that with your feet, it should sort of prime your core. We're going to roll ourselves back. The feet will unravel back towards the ceiling, and the right shoulder rolls back towards the mat, and the right hand rolls back to the mat. So there's one. Let's do the other side. So the left arm is just going to come up towards the ceiling first. The feet roll over to the right. Rotate your feet to the right, and then lift your left arm up towards the ceiling and push through so that you roll onto your right side of your body. Good. And you might feel a stretch in the left hip as well. And then roll back. Your feet will sort of unwind and come back to the center. We'll do that a little bit faster. Right arm up towards the ceiling. Feet go to the left, up and over through the system onto your side. Fully get over onto that side. Fully get over onto that side. Yeah. And then feet rotate, hand comes back. Again, left arm up, feet rotate right, roll over onto your right side. And then release. We're going to add the eyeballs into this now. How about that? Right arm up, feet left, eyeballs left, roll over. And then center back. Stay with me. It's a little bit of like twister, right? Simon says. Left arm up towards the ceiling, feet go to the right, eyeballs go right, roll over to your right. Good. So it's like our feet and our eyeballs are telling our body which direction we want to go. Right arm up towards the ceiling, left feet, left eyeballs, maybe left rotation of your head, up and over onto your side. Good. We'll do that one more time to each side. Oh no, 3 more times. We got to even it out. Left arm up, right feet, right eyeballs, up and over, go. And back. Right arm up, pivot the feet, up and over, go. With the eyeballs, yes. So it's going to start all being one system together. And back down, we'll do one more time. Left hand, right feet, right eyeballs, right head, roll over right. Good, good. And then center out and release. From here, curl yourself up to seated position, however you want to roll yourself up to seated. Beautiful. We're going to come back to eye drill. We can't do all the eye drills in a row. It's too much. We got to do little movement breaks. All right, so you're gonna have your finger roughly in front of your face. Find a sweet spot where you still feel pretty converged on your finger, and your hand is just gonna stay right there. We're gonna take your eyes to something just beyond your fingertips, which might be my screen, so it might be me or my fingertip. And then you're gonna go from the far object to your fingertip, far object to fingertip, back and forth, as fast as you can while keeping it in focus. So make sure you focus in on it, and then I can't even talk while I do it. Make sure you're focused before you switch to the near or far. Good. So this is kind of like what we were doing with the ball earlier. It was like we're looking at the ball, it's far away, and then all of a sudden it's close and we're focusing in on it. 2 more. Maybe last one. Good. And rest. Shake it out. Yeah, I don't feel like those are as bad. But some of you may find that's a little bit dizzying, especially if you have a near far thing in your lenses. All right, we're going to do the same thing. Those are called saccades, where you bring your eyes, where you jump your eye focus. We're going to have each finger out to the side. Make sure that you can kind of see them in your periphery. Make sure that they're equidistant as well. We're going to go no movement of your head. Try not to move your head. Right finger, left finger, right finger, left finger. And I have to move my fingers a little bit in front of my face so that I can actually see them. Some of you actually are probably going to be better at this than me. I have a history of concussion, so this really gets me. All of this neuro stuff, it's like, blow me out of the water. 2 more. Last one. Good. And rest. Whew, nice job. Come onto your back. Movement sesh. All right, this time the feet are going to stay together. Reach your arms up overhead. Big stretch through your body. Give yourself what's called a body yawn. So you're trying to reach as far up overhead as you can and as far down below you as you can. I'm going to call this big. So making yourself sort of as big or as long as possible. We're going to bring one knee in towards your chest, then bring the other knee in towards your chest and grab onto your knees. Make yourself as small as possible. Small as possible. Pull those knees in. Out, make yourself as big or as long as possible. Maybe even arch yourself off the ground a little bit. Big body yawn stretch. And then bring yourself in, pull in, nice and tidy. Very good. Reaching open and out. Inhale as you expand. Exhale. Get tiny, get tiny, get tiny. Good. And of course, your eyes are moving with this too. So you're going to bring your eyes into the picture. As you extend, maybe take your eyeballs to the top of your face. And then as you come into that small ball, bring your eyeballs down to the bottom of your face, maybe looking through your cheekbones. We're going to go up an extension, eyes to the top of your face. Good. Flexion or eyes to the bottom of your face. So just like I said earlier, you're sort of using your eyeballs to cue your body where and how far to move. Last 2, inhale, open. Exhale, pull. Well, I think I'm getting excited. I might be going a little fast. Here we go. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Good, good. And then release down. Whew, nice job. Feet are flat. Bend your knees. We're going to do some bridging here with articulating the spine. So we're getting mobility still in the spine. Let's have your palms facing up and your shoulders open to the ceiling. Press your hips up into your first bridge here of the day. Beautiful. Now place your hands underneath your hips so you're kind of touching your butt cheeks and push your hips up a little bit higher than you think you need to. Very good. And then go ahead here. We're going to soften in the ribs and roll your spine down towards the mat. 1 vertebrae at a time, starting at the top and then going super, super slow all the way to the bottom of it. Good. And I admittedly forgot that I wanted you to hold on to your ball. So grab your pillow or your ball that you were using. Once I got into that, I was like, wait, I wanted to do this part. We're going to hold the ball or some sort of object in between your knees because it's all about midline, right? We want to connect into the center of our body. So we're going to work the inner thigh muscles, the adductors to help us feel that core midline connection. All right, let's start from the top again. Palms open, press up, shoulders wide. Good. Little squeeze on that ball. And then soft, if you want to bring your hands to your hips, sometimes that helps you remind you to keep your hips up high. We're going to soften in the upper ribs. Roll your spine down from the top of your spine all the way down through the bottom, maintaining that squeeze the whole time. Maintain that squeeze the whole time. Once you get to the bottom, you can go into a little bit of extension. Press your hips back up towards the ceiling, reaching open in the shoulders. Beautiful. Go ahead, articulate down, nice and slow. Tuck the tail, 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 and release out. We're going to do that 2 more times. Press up, articulate down, releasing down at the bottom. Very nice. Last one. Press up, articulate down, and full release. Oh, nice job. Keeping the ball right there. We're just going to do a quick neck stretch. Take your right hand behind your neck, behind your head, right at the base of your skull. And you want to reach so far behind the skull that maybe your fingertips even touch your left ear, like behind the left ear. Right here, we're going to pull with our fingers. I'm going to demonstrate on my ball in case you need to see, but I'll say it out loud. You're going to pull on your fingers with the back of your neck. You're going to try to pull all of that tissue over to the right side. So you're kind of like dragging your fingertips, kind of like get a little claw in there. Drag all that tissue over to the right side. Good. And then reset. This time you're going to drag that tissue and look to your right elbow at the same time. Drag the tissue and look to your right elbow at the same time. Again, you're going to do just 2 more of those. Reset, reach all the way behind, drag the tissue, reach towards the elbow, or look towards your elbow, right elbow. Yep. Last one. Pulling across. Good. So you kind of get that grip in your fingertips. Nice. Now shake out your shoulders. Just turn your head right and left and see how you feel. Just on the ground. You can lay down. You're just turning your head right and left. You're like, oh, wow, there's a little bit more space there. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Left fingertips reach behind. So far so that you maybe touch the ear. And then again, kind of grip with the tips of your fingers. Get a little digging in there. It should feel like kind of almost like a massage. Like a deep tissue massage, not a feel good massage. Pull across. And we're going to do 4 of these. So you can just pull across, or if you are ready to look at your left elbow, you can. Good. Reset. As you're pulling, take your eyes and your chin, if you can, and move those towards your left elbow as you're pulling across. Now, and you're going to do about 4 of those. Good. And then go ahead and settle yourself down. We're going to have a second set of bridging here, but we're going to add some sort of like a rotational kind of aspects to it. So a little bit of squeeze on your ball. Go ahead and press your hips up towards the ceiling. Right here, you're going to take your left arm up overhead or up overhead a little bit. And you're going to press the left sit bone or the left hip a little bit higher as you turn your head to smell your left armpit. And then sort of reset your hips and reset your arm back down. We'll tap the ground with your hips. Press your hips back up into that bridge. Right arm comes up. Right hip bone goes higher towards the ceiling. Maybe the left hip drops down. And then you're going to look over your right shoulder or smell your right armpit. And then reset everything. Hips come down. So if you need a demonstration, you can look at the screen for this next one. We'll press the hips up into a bridge. Left arm goes up overhead. Left hip goes higher than the right. Maybe you drop the right hip to make that happen and look over your left shoulder. Bonus points if you can actually look at your hand. And then reset everything and return. Again, press up. Right arm, you're going to look at your right arm and push your right hip higher. And then back down. We'll do that 4 more times. Left hip, left arm, left eyes. And reset. It starts to become kind of one motion. Right arm, right hip, right eyeballs. One more time each side. Here we go. Up and over. Inhale. And last one. Up and over. Inhale. Good, good. And release. Nice job. We're going to get rid of that ball. Actually, we're going to keep the ball. We're going to keep the ball. Come on over. Roll over onto hands and knees. I promised we would reset this. We're going to place the ball in between your knees still. So I'm still here. If you're using not a ball, if you're using like a roll of toilet paper or a pillow, that works fine. All right, so we're gonna do that cat-cow again, but more specifically, you're gonna keep a little bit of squeeze on your ball. From here, you're also gonna work always from your tail first. So when you're on your way to flexion or your black cat, we're gonna start by tucking the tail first. Again, it's kind of small on the screen, but tuck the tail first and then let that wave through your body. Your eyes will come under last. Keep looking at your ball. Let your tail extend, but keep looking at your ball, keep looking at your ball, keep looking at your ball. Wave the spine, and then finally you're like, okay, I can't look at the ball anymore. I'm going to take my eyes up. Very nice. Start with the tail tuck first. Tail tuck. Eyes are still up. You're going to pull your hips underneath you, wave through the spine, let your head drop down to look at your ball. Good. Keep looking at your ball. Let your tail lift and extend and wave through the spine in that way. Good. Tail tuck, draw underneath. Pull through. Tail unravel first and wave through the ball. Wave through the ball. Wave through your spine. We'll do that one more time in each direction. Tail tuck. And if you're not with me on this pace, no big deal. Just kind of flow through it on your own. And then extend out. Well done. Nice job. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stand up from here and do some of those heel up squats that we started with. And we'll also check in with our gait and see if we feel any different. So if we can recall back to how those heel up squats felt at the beginning and how they feel now, it's either going to be the same, different, better, or worse. Okay, 4 options: the same, different, or better, or worse. So again, just a little light touch. Go ahead and lift your heels up and just play with that. You don't need to do it with the group. You can go at your own pace. And then judging again, do you feel more weight through the pinky side of your foot, the big toe side of the foot, or equal across the 5? In theory, well, I'm going to let you feel that for first. I'm not going to give away the answer. In theory, you should feel a little bit more through the big toe side than you did previously. Okay, if all of that convergence worked, all the eye drills worked the way they should, you should feel more in the big toe. And if you didn't, no big deal. We can talk after class. Good. Maybe one more. Good, good. And release. Nice job. Push your chair off to the side. Go ahead and check in with that movement that you picked at the beginning of class. I chose gait or walking, but if you have a different thing that you care about, maybe you're doing sit to stands, things of that sort, go ahead and check that out. I'm going to check out my gait. So comparing from the beginning of class to now, we're looking at things like ease, fluidity, stride length. Natural arm swing would be a huge thing. So not trying to swing your arms, but oh yeah, my arms are just swinging normally. That's a really good sign. Rotation in your pelvis, maybe rolling through your feet. Yeah. Very nice. And then go ahead and take a seat, or you can stay standing. I'm going to take a seat because I'm feeling like I want to sit. And in order for all of that information that you just did, all of that motor learning that just took place, all of that, those channels that you've opened now for neuroplasticity in your brain, we have to allow our brain to download all of that and put it in a place that's more permanent. Okay. So it's important that after you do a bout of activity where you have new things coming in, that you take 2 to 5 minutes of quiet, eyes closed, sort of reflection. Don't do anything. You just let it all kind of play back and download into a more permanent file in your brain. So I'm going to put a timer on for let's go 2 minutes today. If you can believe it, that was only a minute. Right here, we're going to do what's called a physiological sigh. So you're going to take 2 sniffs in through your nose and then a really long exhale through the mouth. See if you can make those longer than you would think you'd need to. I'm going to do 5 of these cycles. Sniff, sniff. And again. Try to make that exhale a little bit more audible. Sniff, sniff. Nice work. Go ahead and open up your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Reach your arms up. Big stretch north. And then, as Sally said she liked before, go ahead and dance it out. Dance it out. Excellent work, everyone. Thank you for coming. I'm going to turn off the recording. If you guys have questions, comments, or you want to share your experiences, I'd love to hear how that last hour went for you. Yeah.